The Archbishop of Detroit is outlining the diocesan plan for mission-ready families of parishes. Today is Monday, February 10th. From Ave Maria Radio, this is Michigan Mornings. Good morning from Ishpeming. I'm Matthew Handley. Today is the memorial of Saint Scholastica. Let's begin with this news. No Second Tunic. That is the title of the pastoral note from the Archbishop of Detroit, Alan Vigneron, who is inviting the church in southeast Michigan to engage in a renewal process to meet the challenges of the rest of the century. In the note, Archbishop Vigneron said, quote, "Today we face a cultural landscape that in many ways more closely resembles the apostolic age than Christendom," end quote, meaning that the culture around us is once again hostile to Christianity rather than accepting of it. The Archbishop noted that the clergy and laity must acknowledge the steep decline in priests and practicing Catholics, not just in Detroit but around the country, and respond not with preservation but with faithfulness. He said, quote, "Parish life in the Archdiocese of Detroit has rapidly changed over the last several decades, with fewer people in the pews, a declining number of priests, and a surplus of aging church buildings without the financial resources to properly care for them. In response to this reality, our parishes must decrease their physical footprint while expanding their spiritual presence. We are called to proclaim Christ crucified, celebrate the sacraments, and serve as witnesses of God's enduring love, just as our ancestors did, with renewed focus and methods," end quote. Archbishop Vigneron said Catholic schools are a major part of this mission, as is the newly created Department of Parish Renewal. The Archbishop also said that pastoral assignments and family of parish groupings may change as well. A link to the pastoral note can be found in the show notes for this episode on purplecatholic.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast. In other news, the Trump administration has halted in spending through a federal program that promised Michigan $110 million to build electric vehicle chargers. The Federal Highway Administration, in a memo last week, said the department would provide new guidance on how states can use the funds this spring. Michigan Department of Transportation spokeswoman Jocelyn Garza said the order is, quote, "clear as mud." Governor Gretchen Whitmer had previously set a goal to install 100,000 EV chargers in Michigan by 2030. As of last week, there are just 3,776. And a new report from the Center for Biological Diversity is slamming DTE Energy for continuing to shut off power to customers despite significant increases in corporate earnings. The report examined shutoff data for 6 utilities and found that last year the company shut off power to delinquent customers more than 150,000 times. In the first 9 months of last year, DTE generated a 41% increase in revenue and have not commented on the report.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
We want listeners to see that God has a unique and unrepeatable plan for their lives and how to rejoice in the work God's doing in their hearts and in their homes.
God wants to set us free to live more abundantly. More to Life explores what that really looks like, living it out in our everyday life and relationships.
More to Life with Dr. Greg and Lisa Popchak.
Coming up later today at 10 a.m. on Ave Maria Radio. On a Monday in Detroit, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a high of 31. Tonight we'll have increasing clouds with a low of 20. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a high of 28. Wednesday, we have a chance of snow in the afternoon. Otherwise, it will be mostly cloudy with a high of 26. Thursday, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a high near 28. You're listening to Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio. On a Monday in Saginaw, we're looking at mostly sunny skies with a high near 28. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 14. Tomorrow, we can expect mostly cloudy skies with a high near 23. Wednesday, we've got a chance of snow in the afternoon. Otherwise, it will be mostly cloudy with temperatures around 22. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high near 25. This is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio. Welcome back to Michigan Mornings. I'm Matthew Handley. American attitudes towards involvement in international situations has changed throughout the years, with the Trump administration seemingly wanting a hands-off approach. Dr. Marcus Peter discussed why Americans should care about what goes on overseas on Ave Maria in the afternoon.
It is right for citizens of a nation to request that the government of that nation, the administration of that nation, be by the American people, for the American people, America for Americans. And that's fine. That actually is right in the order of justice and even charity. However, as we expand that conversation, we also need to realize that for affluent and peaceful nations, stepping into global conflicts does in fact pertain to the responsibility of the common good, because preventing widespread and even expansive global conflict can bring about the benefit of the present nation that is being administrated, in this case, the Middle East. Because for decades, we here in the United States, especially the West in general, we've lived as if history has ended, or at least the history of conflicts has ended. We've indulged in the illusion that the great conflicts of the past are permanently settled. Those were barbaric, brutish times that were over. And this illusion, unfortunately, has been sustained and solidified by the sacrifices and struggles of previous generations. They worked hard to give us the peace that we have right now. And their victories have secured what has become truly an unprecedented era of this great peace and prosperity. This is from the Second World War onwards. In Europe, this period endured from the Cold War's conclusion until Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the United States, however, we are still marked by significant economic expansion. We struggle a little with different administrations, but our foreign conflicts are all at a distance. And that's why we who live in the United States especially, we're detached. Those conflicts don't really affect everyday life at home. No one's getting conscripted to fight in these wars. Not that I'm saying that's a good thing. It just doesn't affect us the same way. What we need to realize, however, is that history doesn't grant any of us indefinite reprieves. When nations grow complacent, and the people of those nations grow complacent, we begin entertaining dangerous lies and misconceptions.
Ave Maria in the afternoon is coming up today at 4 o'clock. St. Jerome Emiliani says our goal is God, the source of all good. As we say in our prayer, we are to place our trust in God and in no one else. I'm Matthew Handley. That does it for this edition of Michigan Mornings on a Monday. Lord willing, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.